let me just get the camera set up better. That's cool. Okay, boys, cool live stream that I want to put out here. What spending time around millionaires has taught me about women. So, from where I started 4 years ago, living in that grotty apartment in central Leeds, £24.82 of universal credit, didn't know what I didn't know a lot about business, looked like a turnip, dressed like a moron, porn addict, had erectile dysfunction, just what I would describe as a low-life loser. From where I was to where I'm at now, where I'm attracting super, super high level individuals into my private network, the Entourage, and I now have the opportunity to network with millionaires. I now have the opportunity to coach millionaires. I now have the opportunity to go out for dinners with millionaires and really learn from them. Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about the network that I've built. I learn from my clients as much as my clients learn from me. And then we all learn from each other, right? So we've got high level guys connecting with other high level guys. And it's this beautiful ecosystem of encouragement. But I thought this live stream would be really useful, especially for maybe the younger guys who are watching these streams. Maybe you're not at that level of wealth right now. And maybe you've been sold the dream that in order to attract women, you just need to acquire lots and lots of money, right? You need to acquire all of these materialistic trophies, and then beautiful women are just going to be knocking on your door, begging to go on a date with you. So I just wanted to use this live stream to, I guess, just share some insights that I've learned, and hopefully they're super valuable for you on your journey of masculine renaissance. So the first epiphanova that I had, all of the high level guys who I work with, so guys especially in their 40s and their 50s, they all say a very similar thing as soon as we start working together. And the thing that they say is, I wish I'd have invested into my social skills earlier. Yeah, like I wish I'd have started all of this stuff a lot sooner. Like I was having a conversation with a really high level guy recently, and we were sat on a table and I said to him, dude, you are so far ahead of me. Like, you're so far ahead of me. And then he stopped me and he was like, the only reason I'm so far ahead of you financially is because I've got 2 decades on you, right? I just started earlier and I've been at the game for a lot longer. But when it comes to social skills, social expertise, learning influence, persuasion, learning how to get what you want, learning how to extend invitations, have this non-needy energy, how to magnetize people into your presence without even having to say a word, how to ooze this rock star confidence wherever I go, I'm ahead, right? So it's just this knowledge that we become what we practice. Yeah, we become what we practice. So I went full time on the business that I'm running now 2 years ago, right? So I've been at let's just say the money game. I've been at the money game for 2 years. And at this point, I've scaled my business, the business that I'm running now, to 20K a month, which I'm super proud, that I'm super happy with that. And I know there's still more levels to climb. Like I'm spending time with like super high level guys, and they're telling me about things that they've earned. They're telling me about like new crypto projects, like all this stuff. My mind is just getting blown. Like you've heard the whole, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Well, I feel like the poorest person in the room whenever I'm sat around my guys, but that's the energy that I need in my life, right? Because it's you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So the network that I've built, the people that I'm attracting, 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs, digital nomads, business owners, investors, executives, it's like we're all growing together. But this notion that they wish they'd have started investing into their social skills earlier, it's common amongst the guys who I work with. So if you're a guy in your 20s right now, don't neglect your social skills. Don't follow this BS, like, you know, that stuff online, like, oh, Sigma mindset, like grind king, like sacrifice your 20s. It makes no sense. I think it was Warren Buffett who said, yeah, it's telling guys to sacrifice their 20s, like not have any experiences with the feminine, is basically like saying wait until you're 60 years old just to have sex for the first time, right? It makes no sense. So if you're in that bracket now, if you're between the ages of 18 and 29, don't neglect your social skills, because the skills that you will learn through this process of cold approach will help you skyrocket your income further down the line. Because what we're learning here when it comes to cold approach, it's not just talking to girls. We're learning influence, we're learning persuasion, we're learning emotional resilience, we're learning how to handle objections, we're learning how to maintain enthusiasm after going from one failure to another. We're learning how to approach, we're learning how to open, how to converse, we're learning how to close. Seduction is sales, right? So if you're a young guy and you're in your 20s and maybe you're not sure what you want to do with your life right now, I would personally say treat cold approach just like going to the gym. Get your reps in, because the more proficient you can become at this skill set, the better you're going to be when it comes to sales. And then you can maybe land yourself a job in high ticket sales. You can create a personal brand online like I'm doing. I was listening to a podcast with Ty Lopez, and he was like, the only two professions which are going to exist after the AI revolution are going to be personal brands and people who work in AI. Everything else is going to become extinct. And now the rooms that I'm spending time in, my mind is just being blown every single day, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know. So just this notion that they wish they'd have started investing into their social skills sooner. You don't want to get to 50 years old and still not know how to talk to women, right? It's not impossible, but you are going to find it more difficult the longer that you leave it. You could make the argument, I suppose, that when you get to 50 years old, you've got more gravitas, you've got more life experience, you're starting to develop that amuse mastery. I accept that argument. But I do think that because I started investing into my social skills at 13 years old, I've had 14 years of time in the trenches, learning what works, learning what doesn't work, understanding understanding the language of just like people, I guess. So that's why when people work with me now, they get everything that I've learned condensed into a single weekend. And that's why the guys who I work with get life-changing results fast. So investing into your social skills as soon as possible, that can just be as simple as dedicating 1 hour 3 times a week to cold approaching, aiming to do between 5 and 7 direct cold approaches in 1 hour, right? Just going outside. That is just one of the best hacks for skyrocketing your social skills. It's just getting outside more. It's living by that mantra, never be at home. Because I'm not going to meet anybody if I just stay in this apartment, right? I need to get outside. I need to be an active player rather than a static spectator. I need to position myself in the environments where I'm more likely to be able to initiate conversations with people. And really, social skills, when we boil it all down, it just comes down to starting conversations, just getting into the habit of being the person to strike up the conversation. My mom always used to say to me, Kristian, if nobody ever made the first move, then nothing would ever get done, right? So just getting into the habit of starting conversations with people, never be at home, get outside, treat it just like going to the gym, getting your social reps in. I like to view cold approach now more as a social sport. So I'm like, right, go outside, get my 5 reps in. It might be the old lady, it might be the middle-aged lady, it might be the gob-smackingly gorgeous Swedish university student, like going over to her, you look amazing, what are you doing? Let's go for fika. Just making this something we are rather than something that we do. And the interesting parallel that the high-level guys who I work with make between social skills and finances is a compounding effect. Okay, so if you're somebody who invests your money into assets, into whatever, appreciating assets, you'll understand the notion of the compounding effect, right? You put in a little bit and then it grows year after year a little bit. If you're investing into crypto, it's more volatile, but you might get a pump, a higher ROI faster. But the compounding effect, right? Social skills are very similar because the actions that we put in today, we might not notice the fruits of our labor until 1, 2, 3 years from now, right? But it's having this future projection mindset. And this is what I found. Millionaires, guys who are crushing it in the game of wealth, they do this so well. Like they can see the future. It's almost like they're visionaries. They're not thinking in terms of days, they're thinking in terms of decades. It's like, okay, if I put 5% of my net worth into this asset, then 10, 20 years down the line, it's going to yield fruits. Yeah. So having this future projection mindset, I find that this is one of the biggest reasons guys never get the results they want from cold approach. And it's down to a lack of patience. They'll go out, maybe they'll be doing it for 1 week, 1 month, 2 months. They're not seeing the results they expected to see, and then they give up. But it's simply impatience, which is the biggest enemy, because in the world that we live now, we're so accustomed to instant gratification. Oh, I'm hungry. Swipe on a screen, food arrives. Oh, I'm bored, get onto Spotify. Oh, I don't like sitting with my own thoughts. Boom, entertainment, Netflix, social media, fucking Pornhub. All of our needs can be met instantaneously, but cold approach especially, it's an ultimate practice in delayed gratification because we might not see the fruits of our labor. Like the approach that, like, let's just say I go out today as a complete beginner and I do 5 direct cold approaches and they don't go the way that I want them to go. Maybe I just like, maybe it's like, I got a boyfriend, or maybe I bottle the, whatever. What the beginner mind doesn't understand is the work that I'm doing now may not pay off for another 3 months. Like when I was 13 years old and I was cold approaching people around parks in the Lake District, like, oh, hi, excuse me, can I show you some magic? Like so socially anxious. I didn't understand then that my 13-year-old self was taking the actions that would invest into the person that I am today. So every single day, this is the way that millionaires think. It's like, how is this action going to affect my life? Not today, not tomorrow, not next week, but 1 year, 2 years from now. And 5, 10 years down the line, your future self is going to be so grateful that you got started. Your future self is going to be so grateful you watched this live stream, you started following my content, and you started transmuting information into implementation, right? This is another thing that I learned from millionaires. They take action fast, right? I had a guy join me in Stockholm 3 days ago. He saw about 5 seconds of one of my live streams. He clicked the link below the video, he booked in a call with me the next day, and then the day after that, he was on a flight. He came over to Stockholm to work with me, to join the network, to get coached by me. This is how high-level guys think. They're not stuck in this procrastination limbo. This is what I notice amongst guys who never achieve anything, right? It's always, oh, maybe next year. It's, oh, I need to think about it. You don't need to think about it. Right? The reason why you're watching these videos is because you're experiencing pain in your life. It's because you've got to a stage in your life, like I was at 4 years ago, where you've just become fucking disgusted with yourself. And you understand that no one's coming to save you. So stop pushing away what you know needs to be done now. It's like if I had a really dirty room, I had pizza boxes, dirty clothes. It's like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I need to think about it. No, you don't need to think about it. You already know what you need to do. You're just not doing it. And this is why I'll get guys who've been following my content for the best part of 3 years. They've been sat on my email list for 2 years. They've watched every single video, but they've still not gone out. They've still not done an approach. Their life is exactly the same as it was 3 years ago. And I'm like, you deserve exactly what you've received. Right? We're all self-made, but the people who want to admit that they're self-made, the people who are proud of their lives, again, we become what we practice. So this is what I need you to start doing. Start taking action faster, right? You've watched the video. You already know what you need to do. Go outside, talk to some girls. Not every girl is going to like you. Nobody's allergic to a compliment, but a rising tide lifts all the boats. Forget about how you feel. Go out purely to give. You already know it. There's over 600 videos on this channel. There's 2 free courses which you can access below. You've got everything that you need. What you're lacking is ruthless, radical action. Getting the information and then actually putting it out there into the field and recognizing that you're not going to become a top 1% player overnight. Right? I'm not providing you with magic bullet, like get rich quick formula, 5 tricks to get any woman into bed. This is not a magic bullet, right? This is not a become Lothario overnight type of thing. This is a lifelong pursuit towards masculine excellence. This is you investing into the identity of the person who you want to embody. Yeah? One of our members in the Entourage, Jazz, he always says, I always look back. Like, I imagine I've got to 90. I imagine I've got to 90 years old, looking back at my life. I don't want to get to the end of my life living with regrets. There's a really great book which was recommended to me, Die with Zero, right? You don't want to be the richest man in the grave. You don't want to be looking back at the dusty recesses of your life thinking, yeah, I've got all of this money, but I've got nothing to show for it. I've got no one who loves me. I'm not receiving love from the feminine. So life is for the living, right? Eternity is a long time and we're too long dead to be playing it safe. I think the best thing, or one of the best things that I've heard, is money only solves money problems. And you don't have dating problems. You have personal problems which manifest themselves into dating problems, right? All of the millionaires that I've spent time around, none of them have shied away from doing the inner work, yeah? Like actually going deep with themselves, finding out what motivates them. Like, why am I chasing money? Oh, I'm chasing money because I want freedom. Why do you want freedom? Oh, I want freedom because of my childhood. I didn't feel as though I had the freedom. I had a, I don't know, abusive household where I felt I was shackled into that. Okay, so, and then by following that trail of whys, they're able to understand their actual why, like why they're doing all of these things. Like, dude, you're not cold approaching because you want a cold approach. You don't give a fuck about cold approach. The reason why you're learning this skill set is because you're sick of feeling lonely. It's because you're tired of feeling like a wallflower. It's because you don't want to die feeling, oh, I wish I'd have done more. I wish I'd have taken more radical action. It's because you want to feel wanted. It's because you want to receive love from the feminine. It's because you want to obliterate all of those anxieties. It's not cold approach, right? It's deeper than day game. You ain't just going out there just to chat to some girls. Oh, maybe I'll get lucky. No, it's not that. It's the deeper shit. That's why you're on this process. That's why you're watching these videos. That's why you're actually putting yourself out there. It's because you want more from your life. And this is what I found with millionaires. They are very introspective. They do their best to find out what motivates them. Like, who am I? What do I actually want? Not what I've been brainwashed by the brain dead into thinking I should want to want, but what do I actually want? For a lot of the guys who I work with, they're super specific on what they're looking for. They're looking for a wife-worthy woman. They're looking for a best friend who they can do life with. And I think this is the greatest step we can take when it comes to not just our dating life, but business as well, is getting clear on what we actually want. So who do we want to become? How much money do we want to be making per month? Where do we want to be living in the world? What's our mental health like? How do we dress? How do we walk? How do we talk to ourselves? And this is why, in order to become that top 1% version of us, we do need to metaphorically crucify this current version of ourselves and elevate into the version of us who can achieve these things. And yeah, just spending time around high-level guys, I've realized there are levels to this game, right? There are levels to this game. And I think being around an ecosystem where I've got guys in my network who are crushing it with business, and it's like, it's probably the highest compliment they can pay me, because I'm sat around tables now, and sometimes I have to pinch myself because oftentimes I can still feel like the ugly duckling inside, right? Sometimes it's like the internal hasn't caught up with the external. Sometimes I'm like, why is this guy sat on the same table as me? And I'm like, wait, because we deserve it. Right? In life, we don't get what we deserve, we get what we think we deserve. 4 years ago, this was the vision that I had for my life. This is not some woo-woo law of attraction BS, like sit cross-legged, lotus flower position, law of attraction, whatever. This is what happens when you get specific on what you actually want. 4 years ago in that grotty apartment, this was the life that I envisioned for myself. International lifestyle, the best in the world at what I do, having the best client results in the industry, building this decentralized community, which I now call the Entourage, where I'm attracting high-level guys. If you haven't done so already, download my free course. It's called My Most Fuckable Man course. And in that course, we go super deep. I outline my exact roadmap for getting everything that you want in life. We go into a personal renaissance document. It's all in that course. Again, I give away information and I charge for implementation, but just being rich, just having money, it's not the thing, right? What I've learned, the way that we achieve what we want in the sexual marketplace is by becoming the full package, right? So yeah, exploding your income, working on your finances, but investing heavily, just as heavily into your social skills, because it's this thing that we call game. This is the vehicle to get what we want. This is the vehicle to deliver our value to the world. The analogy that we always use is there's no point in acquiring all of these materialistic trophies, the cars, the watches, the luxury lifestyle, if you still can't go over and talk to that pretty girl, because that's like working your bollocks off to buy a Lamborghini and then being too scared to drive it. So yeah, I'm learning every single day, and I'm truly blessed, and I feel excited. I feel excited about who I am, and I feel even more excited about who I'm becoming, right? The people that I'm spending time with, the rooms that I'm positioning myself in, the community that I'm building, it's only getting better, and I'm only getting stronger. I'm learning every single day, and I'm using these live streams to just document my life, one live stream at a time, and hopefully inspire you boys. The way you start is not the way you finish, right? Remember that. The way you start is not the way you finish. You could be an absolute loser right now, like I was 4 years ago, but you don't have to remain that way for the rest of your life. It starts with a decision. It starts by making sure your actions match your ambitions, and then working like a savage until you actualize the reality that you want to be living. So hope that this has been useful. If you have enjoyed it, consider subscribing, like it, do all the YouTubey stuff, and download the free course as well.